Hello, and welcome back to my channel of custom figure reviews and Lego news. Now we'll be doing our first custom figure review. We'll be starting off with the classic, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. Now, I don't have enough figures to do multiple a week, so we'll only be doing one, which I know isn't much to be waiting for, but it's really the best I can do with pretty much no budget. So, let's begin. Now, this figure is very detailed. It's tough to see with my very crappy camera, but you can see, but look closely, you'll see the kind of, the patterning even on the blue parts of the costume. Trying to keep very accurate with all the little details of the movie. They, like most custom figures of the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, they fully embrace the webs as kind of a silver line, contrary to what most Spider-Man figures do with a black line, which is pretty interesting. It definitely makes this one a lot different than most of the others. Now, they have this silver lining on just about every red spot of the body except the hands. It's really good. A lot of Lego figures don't have that much detailing. Of course, like with regular Lego, you have the back of the head, the front of the head, the chest, but especially with Lego figures in sets, Lego doesn't always do that much in the detail for set figures. They will for CMF figures, but this is a very detailed figure, which is one of the things I like about custom figures. They very often go into more detailed. You'll notice they fully printed the legs, they fully printed the arms. They've given us back printing and even side of the leg and back of the leg printing. You won't find many regular Lego figures with back of the leg printing. It's really good having it on here. It's one of the things, as I said, one of the things I like about custom figures. Now, a small gripe I have with this is the back of the head spider lining. Now, throughout most of the face and chest, they do a lot like smaller lines here. And I like having the larger lines, as they definitely they add a lot more definition between the lines, but it doesn't really work as the front of the head has a lot smaller lines. You can see the difference. So it feels almost like it's off two different figures. But the front of the head has but they both have their flaws and their upsides. The front of the head lacks a bit of definition, but is very movie accurate. While the back of the head isn't as movie accurate but it has a lot more definition between the lines, so you can really kind of see each line better and get a good visual of it. They have the spider emblem on both the back and the front, and they did a really good job with the arms. I feel they were really able to get the right mix of red with the lining and the blue. And even on the front of the arms, they even continued the patterning of the blue parts. Though it's very little, I really appreciate how they still put the effort in. And needless to say, the blue patterning is continued on the back. Now, this figure does come with an accessory. Comes with a spider web made of about 5 pieces. It has the front part, so this would work as like a web in mid-shot, being kind of like dispersing. Two white studs connecting it, and a kind of web being firing web, along with a holding piece so that it can be held in Spider-Man's arms. Now, this is pretty good. Now, admittedly, I don't love the way it looks, as it feels like it kind of disperses here, and then kind of like comes back into just one line here before dispersing again here. This doesn't make sense, but now they use pieces all made by Lego, these are some good pieces that, before I got this figure, I did not have. So it's pretty good. So I like having them, even though it doesn't really seem to work as one specific web. Now, the figure also comes with this helmet piece. Now, a lot of the Spider-Man custom figures have a weird habit of adding on an extra head for the Spider-Man mask, which Lego doesn't do. They have the Spider-Man mask as the figure's head. Now, I believe the reason they're doing this is to get the totally flat top of the Spider-Man mask, but it doesn't work. It feels big and almost like a bobble, makes the figure almost feel like a bobblehead with the then oversized head if you have this on. And it doesn't have any back design printing, which I talked about on this figure, as the main back of the heads have. So really all this does would be to bring the figure down when you have it on. So I would not recommend you keep them on. Now, of the Spider-Man custom figures I've gotten, I have a few of them. Some of them have the head underneath, like this one does, but some of them don't, forcing you to have this helmet piece on, which I really don't like, but I'll get to that when I get to some of the figures that are like that. But overall, this is a really good figure. Some nice detailing, even though it has some minor inconsistencies. Some good web pieces, but they don't really work that well together. And a terrible extra mask head. So, but because you don't have to have the terrible mask head. Heck, you can even take out the webs if you want, but the webs are still pretty good, so I'd keep them on. I would give this figure about 3.5 or 4 out of 5. So, you've got a pretty solid figure. Unless it's pretty expensive, I'd say this is probably a buy. Well, see you next week.